Please click the subscribe button and the notification icon. It will help us a lot.
Well, a couple of things. Let me see if I can put all this together. So one thing we do tactically to consistently deliver good work is we rely on processes a lot. So Epipheo, especially in its early days, we were fortunate to have a number of folks who were very systems thinkers. And part of that was just luck. Part of it was almost by necessity, because the volume of work was so high, there was no way that we could get it all done without and scale the business out without there being some processes in place. So, we have a pretty well-oiled process that we've developed over the years that helps us go from, the kickoff to completion and in a relatively predictable way. That's not to say that the creative outcomes are predictable, but it certainly helps, to kind of keep us on the rails. There are things that we have learned that over time, these are just consistent best practices. So we just try and stick to those. So I think for whatever your art is, or your sort of discipline is, trying to figure out what part of this can I systematize that basically keeps me doing the things that consistently lead to other good things. I think that's a first step for anybody in over time, just repeatedly generating good work. I think, what was the other thing? The second thing was, we've wrestled with this a lot. When you say, how do you do this to create your best work or good work or whatever, remembering that we aren't ultimately the ones that get to decide what best is. We work with clients. We're in a client service business. And this is a really big tension that I think artists especially have to wrestle with. The difference between an artist and a designer. So an artist, and I'm going to paint some broad brushstrokes, and this might piss some people off. I apologize. That's not my intention. But I'm going to oversimplify some things. There's the artist, and I think the artist, they're primarily interested in expression. They're not interested in telling you what you should think or believe or say in response to what they've created. They've created it. It was an expression, and it's up for you to interpret. The designer says, what is the problem that needs solved? And I will create something that, quite frankly, isn't up for interpretation. When I design a chair, I'm not trying to leave it up for interpretation as to whether or not that chair is a chair. I want you to look at it and go, oh, that's a chair. I should sit in it. Like that to me is sort of the big difference between art and design. Now let's translate that to kind of your question. I think we are in the business. If you serve clients like we do, we are a design business. Even though we have artists, we are a design business. Basically, we are trying to build something that fixes a problem that they have, and they are a part of, the answer to the question, is this good? Because they are, one, their opinion matters because they're the ones freaking paying for it. But also, they're the ones that they know how they're going to deploy it. They know how they're going to measure it. They know how they're going to track the effectiveness, and then kind of what they're going to do accordingly. So what we have to do when we answer the question of like, is this good enough, is we have to balance it with sort of as objective as we can, an outside sort of objective answer to just, is this an effective piece of communication? Is this something that a human being would want to watch and that the average human would watch it and have an epiphany moment? Or is it, a train wreck? And then secondly, is the client satisfied? Do they feel like, it's that their primary objectives have been hit? Our process is very collaborative. They have input at all of the stages of the process for that reason, because it would be really dumb for us to just assume, thanks, we understand. We'll be back in 6 weeks or whatever with your final video because it's just going to be amazing. No. We're in this together. They need to have a voice into it, and so that's kind of how we designed our process.